We got here, these are the top tubes of the roll bar as they were cut off. These are the tops. And what I'm going to do is I got to modify these to, when you weld them together, they'll be strong, because the last thing you need is a roll bar to fail on a weld. So what I did was, this is a piece that we had shortened it when we cut it off. There was little pieces left over. So what you do is you cut them. You cut them in here. You cut out a section. Then you stick them in a vise and you squeeze them. You start rolling it around and squeezing it so it becomes small enough so that it's going to slide in there. And what I'll do now, it almost fits by itself, but what you do is you put it in a vise and you squeeze it, and it'll get a little bit smaller and it'll slide right in. You drill holes in the tubing. You'll see there's one on the bottom on the other side. There's one here. You can put more on, but I just put two. So what happens is this piece will be inside, and then you weld that hole, and that locks this piece into here, and it gives like a little insert. Now this piece will go into the mating piece on the roll bar, and it'll be a hell of a lot stronger than if I just put them together and weld it all around, because this will be on the inside of the tubing. And I'll drill holes on the other mating piece, so it'll kind of look, I'll use the other tube. When you put them together, it'll look like this. And the 4 holes, you weld it in, and that'll lock the insert in there, and then you weld all the way around the part. For each end there, and down at this end there's 2, and it'll be 3 and 4. So there's the 4 pieces that I'm going to use as inserts to go into the roll bar, and we'll put this thing together. Okay, we got the Jeep roll bar in. Comes up, we cut it off here, this piece here on an angle, and this one here were the 2 struts that go to the back in a Jeep. So what we did was we cut the top loop off, cut it off here, and then we cut it off right there, took the top off. Then we took this piece, which was pointing in the back, because it didn't fit underneath the rear window of the coupe, we decided to turn it sideways. Alright, and then we cut off the bottom, re-welded it to some support steel that we added to the frame under here, down, and it's going to be it's bolted in here and here, the center section. Of course up here, this is the original weld. It comes down, we welded to that, again bolted it to the center section. The top piece here came down and bolts to a plate, same heavy angle iron. This is going to be part of the body. Bolts here. The top section, what we did was we took a piece of tubing and sliced it and rolled it so it's in a, we stuck it in a vise, and we just kept taking a little slice out at a time until we could roll it so the diameter would fit inside the regular tubing. And then we stuck that piece inside the tubing, so it goes half inside here and half inside the curved piece, and that would give it a lot of strength. So it wouldn't be just a weld that we were worried about for strength. We also had a piece inside so it wouldn't break at that weld. We did the same thing on the other side. We cut a section off, sliced it down the side, kept squeezing it in a vise until it was small enough diameter to fit inside the tubing. Maybe it was probably about 2 inches long. We slid it halfway down into this piece, then took the top curve, slid it down over it, and then welded it around. Then we bought some tubing. We bought some tubing here, same diameter. This tubing here is the next size up, so it fits over this. The original tubing will fit inside of this. So what we did was we split it in half, so it looks like, here's the other side. We split it in half, drilled a couple of holes in it. Now, One half went on this side, the other half went on the other side. We drilled through and bolted it to clamp onto the upright piece. Then we took the extension, which is this piece here. This is the other side. It's getting ready to be bolted in. It hasn't been finished ground yet, but we welded it to a plate. Now this curve here matches the curve on the frame. That side was done too. There's a slight curve, so that was bolted onto the angle iron that was welded to the frame. The angle iron was curved to match the curve of the frame also, so it's all matched up. Then we took and bolted that down, put in the piece, tack welded it to the other half of this tubing, and then welded it all the way around. Same thing on this side. We have the you can see right there, there's the angle iron support, has a slight curve to match the curve of the frame. Here's the piece, it matches that curve. The holes have already been drilled through over there in place. That section has been tapped, so the bolts will just go through in there. The other section, there's the other half of the tubing that goes to this half, and that's going to clamp right up under there. Okay, now I got the other second side, the passenger side in. You see there's the two bolts going through those two halves of tubing, and there's the cross piece in the back, the support in the back, bolted to the angle iron that's in the back there. So now the roll bar is in, and it'll give it feel a little safer. It's got some a little bit more support and strength, because while you look at the body shell, there's nothing inside here. I'm going to add some more square tubing here and there, up and around the rear window and back down along the sides here. I got to beef up the door jamb area, but that's pretty much it. We got one more thing done.